The big question is, how do I build myself for the future? I want to give you a few things that I think are important in you building yourself for the future. Number one, I believe that building yourself for the future begins with cultivating in you the belief that you are inherently worthy and you are inherently deserving of dignity and respect. Not because of anything that you have, not because of anything that you have achieved. For the mere fact that you are a human being, you are deserving of respect and dignity just because you're human. And we do this by training ourselves to be the first to treat ourselves as worthy and valuable. By understanding that we were created with a purpose. When God sat down to create me and you, He had a purpose in mind. And that is where we derive our value and worth. We do not derive our value and worth in the things that we have achieved. We don't derive our value and worth in our education and in our accolades. The very fact that we are human beings created by God for a purpose is what makes us worthy, inherently worthy. So it is important for us to understand this, because when we understand it, when we treat ourselves as worthy and valuable first, we don't only elevate our own lives, but we also teach other people to treat us in the same way. Number two, it also teaches us to be secure in who we are and to derive our value and worth from who we are and not from our achievements, such that we still feel valuable and worthy even when we have not achieved. And then lastly, when we become the first ones to treat ourselves as worthy, we give our dreams a chance. So the other thing that is a part of what we need to think about in building ourselves for the future. It is silencing the voices in our heads that actually undermine our capacities, that actually undermine our accomplishments. The voices that makes us think of where we come from and how nothing good can come out of where we come from. And as a result, we even stop trying because we feel like it yafanamos. Building yourself for the future means silencing those voices, because they are holding you back, they are holding you hostage, and they are preventing you from being able to get to the future that you imagine. And that requires honest conversations with ourselves, teaching ourselves to own and celebrate our achievements. It is about owning our success without being arrogant. And then the last point, okay, maybe not the last point, developing and building yourself for the future is also about developing a help-seeking attitude. The whole Jumpstart Effect book revolves around this whole idea that stuckness is an unfriendly reminder that human connections matter. So building in you and developing an attitude that allows you to seek help when you need it, enables you, Uguti, when it comes to a point in your life, because we all get to a point in our lives where we get stuck and we feel like we are unable to move, we are unable to make progress. But because we have developed a help-seeking attitude, we will not find ourselves in a point where we are unable to get unstuck just because we can't reach out for help. There are so many people that can be found complaining about how life has been difficult for them and about how people were not there for them. But if you ask them, who did you reach out to? You probably find that they didn't reach out to anyone. And as human beings, we are not good at guessing when people need help. So it is very much important to develop a help-seeking attitude, so that when you get to a point in your life where you're stuck and there's nothing that you can do by yourself to get out of that element of stuckness, you are able to reach out for help and get the help that you need. You don't have to suffer in silence. You'll be amazed of how many people are willing to go out of their way to help you get to where you want to be. But that would not happen until you reach out and ask for the help that you need. Building yourself for the future also requires that you build the capacity to confront your past. You cannot conquer what you will not confront. A lot of us have things that we have bottled inside of us, have past experiences that are holding us back from being able to get to the future that we imagine. And until we confront those experiences, until we confront those memories, we will not be able to get to the future that we imagine. So, building yourself for the future means cultivating the capacity and the courage to confront your past. A lot of us also try to avoid these things and pretend like they didn't happen. But the sad thing is that there is no eraser for memory. Throughout life, you will find or come across things that will trigger those experiences if you have not dealt with them. And every time you get triggered, you find that it seems like you are reliving that experience. And that is because you have not dealt with it. I like to say that the pain from yesterday is haunting you today. And if you don't deal with it today, it will continue to haunt you into the future. It does not matter what the issue is that has caused you pain, that has caused you heartache, that has broken your heart, whether it be failed relationships, whether it be experiences of failure or traumatic experiences, or things that were said to you or things that were said about you. Until you confront those things and how you feel about them, those experiences will continue to haunt you into the future. And usually I like to make an analogy with a balloon. Think about the balloon as yourself, and all your experiences, the painful experiences, it's like blowing air into the balloon. Somebody says something that hurts you, they blow air into the balloon. But because you have a tendency of not dealing with things, the air doesn't come out of the balloon, it gets bottled inside. And then you experience failure, and that blows air into your balloon. And you continue as if nothing happened. You get into a relationship, everything is nice, you are all lovey-dovey, and something happens, and you break up. And you pretend that you are strong. Vele, when you don't deal with stuff, you just ignore it, you just shove it in the back of your mind and continue like nothing happens. But that blows air into your balloon. And it happens that maybe your boss treats you somehow at work and that doesn't sit well with you, and you bottle it inside of you, don't address it with them. And it happens that also somebody else makes a comment about your weight, or they make a comment about something about how you are dressed, and that doesn't sit well with you. But it hurts you. You know that it hurts you, and you just pretend like nothing happened. And I'm sure, as you can see the balloon inflating, you can already imagine what is going to happen. And it doesn't take anything big. It can take something as small as a toothpick to burst the balloon. And that is what happens to a lot of people. When we bottle things inside, we get to a point where the balloon is inflated to its elastic limits. And any more air that comes inside, it will make it burst. And that is why sometimes people get into depression. That is why sometimes people have mental breakdowns, because they can no longer handle what they've bottled inside of them. So deal with it. That's part of building yourself for the future. It's being able to confront your past and dealing with things as they come. And let me conclude with this. Progress is in the practice of what we learned. That's the principle. So don't spend your time and your data watching videos, listening to podcasts, and not applying anything. Probably reading books and not applying any of the things you learn from those books. Practice the things that you learned, and your progress will be seen by all. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. That really goes a long way to support this channel. Until next time, give your dreams a chance.